जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी,
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 जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवारधारी,
जय गोपी जन
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजना, यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजना, यमुना तीरा यमुना तीरा जय राधा Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse number 26. Everyone can follow me. Vedaham samatitani.
Vedaham samatitani.
Vedaham samatitani.
Vedaham samatitani.
Vartamanani charjuna.
Vartamanani charjuna.
Vartamanani charjuna.
Vartamanani charjuna.
Bhavishyani cha bhutani.
Bhavishyani cha bhutani.
Bhavishyani cha bhutani.
Bhavishyani cha bhutani.
Mam tu vedana kaschana.
Mam tu vedana kaschana.
Mam tu vedana kaschana.
Mam tu vedana kaschana.
Vedaham samatitani.
Vedaham samatitani.
Vartamanani charjuna.
Vartamanani charjuna.
Bhavishyani cha bhutani.
Bhavishyani cha bhutani.
Mam tu vedana kaschana.
Mam tu vedana kaschana.
Anybody from Prabhuji's side, spiritual side? Vedaham samatitani. Vartamanani charjuna. Bhavishyani cha bhutani. Mam tu vedana kaschana. More. Vedaham samatitani. Vartamanani charjuna. Bhavishyani cha bhutani. Mam tu vedana kaschana. Mataji side. Vedaham samatitani. Vartamanani charjuna. Bhavishyani cha bhutani. Mam tu vedana kaschana. Vedaham samatitani. Vartamanani charjuna. Bhavishyani cha bhutani. Mam tu vedana kaschana. Synonyms. Veda.
Veda.
No.
No.
Aham.
Aham.
I.
I.
Samatitani.
Samatitani.
Completely past.
Completely past.
Vartamanani.
Vartamanani.
Present.
Present.
Cha.
Cha.
And
And
Arjuna.
Arjuna.
O Arjuna.
O Arjuna.
Bhavishyani.
Bhavishyani.
Future.
Future.
Cha.
Cha.
Also.
Also.
Bhutani.
Bhutani.
All living entities.
All living entities.
Mam.
Mam.
Me.
Me.
Tu.
Tu.
But.
But.
Veda.
Veda.
Knows.
Knows.
Na.
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 Kaschana.
Kashchana.
Anyone.
Anyone.
Translation. Then we can read together. O Arjuna.
O Arjuna.
As the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
As the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
I know everything
I know everything
that has happened in the past,
that has happened in the past,
all that is happening in
all that is happening in
the present,
the present,
and all things
and all things
that are yet to come.
that are yet to come.
I also know all
I also know all
living entities,
living entities,
but me,
me,
no one knows.
no one knows.
So, put by His Divine Grace Bhakti Vriksha Swami Prabhupada ki. Here the question of personality and impersonality is clearly stated. If Krishna, the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, were Maya, material, as impersonalists consider Him to be, then, like the living entity, He would change His body and forget everything about His past life. Anyone who, with a material body, cannot remember his past life, nor can he foretell his future life, nor can he predict what will happen in his present life. Therefore, he cannot know the events of past, present, and future. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, he cannot know past, present, and future. Unlike the ordinary human being, Lord Krishna clearly says that he completely knows what happened in the past, what is happening in the present, and what will happen in the future. In the 4th chapter, we have seen that Lord Krishna remembers instructing 𝗷𝗲𝗏, the sun god, millions of years ago. Krishna knows that every living entity, because he is situated in every living being's heart as a super soul. But despite his presence in every living entity as super soul and his presence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the less intelligent, even if able to realize the impersonal Brahman, cannot realize Sri Krishna as a Supreme Person. Certainly, the transcendental body of Sri Krishna is not perishable. It's just like the sun, and Maya is like a cloud. In the material world, we can see that there is the sun and that there are clouds and different stars and planets. The clouds may cover all these in the sky temporarily, but this covering is only apparent to our limited vision. The sun, moon, and stars are not actually covered. Similarly, Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord. By his internal potency, is not manifested. It is not manifest to this less intelligent class of men, as it is stated in the 3rd verse of this chapter. Out of millions and millions of men, some try to become perfect in this human form of life, and out of those and thousands of such perfected men, hardly one can understand what Lord Krishna is, even if one is perfected by realization of impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma. He cannot possibly understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, without being in Krishna conscious. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuromilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Namobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuktapadakamala Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Shahavana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past and all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows. So we can see this wonderful chapter where there's a chapter of knowledge of absolute. Right? So what is absolute here? Krishna is talking about is himself. Who is God? Sometimes, we might wonder, right? What is the quality of God? What is God supposed to be? Right? We are bewildered. Somebody does some kind of magical thing, a little bit, ashes here and there, some kind of thing. So people start thinking that, there are a lot of saints in India, right? They also even predict somebody's future, what is happening. These are very popular in social media nowadays. But what Krishna is trying to prove in this chapter is trying to show what is the quality of God, right? So the whole chapter is actually in 7, you can see the quality. And this sloka actually defines one of the quality of God, that God knows everything, right? So this is what Krishna is trying to prove, that God knows everything, and he says that I am that God, because I know the past, I know the present, and I know the future, right? The yet to come thing, right? And the whole purport we're going to discuss, our whole class will be based on Srila Prabhupada purport, most of things will. That sometimes we when we start now knowing this quality of Krishna, right? Actually it makes us humble, right? So we might think that we are so great, we know so many things, right? When we compare something, then our perspective will change, right? There's like a story of a frog. So one time there was a frog in a well, and one frog that from the ocean fell down in this well, and he said, I fell down to this place. What is this place? It's a well. It's too small. I came from the ocean. What is ocean? What are you talking about? Ocean. And this frog is explaining, this ocean is huge, large. You can even see the end of the water. It is double this well, the size of the well. No, it's more, triple, 10 times, because his vision, right? His idea of his understanding is so limited to this well, right? But if we take this frog who was trapped in this well and take to the ocean, we can comprehend all, right? It's really you can fathom how great it is, how big it is, right? In the same way, actually, Srila Prabhupada tells his disciple that if you actually realize whom you are worshipping, you actually will fathom, right? Because you're worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And that's why Krishna is trying to prove that he is the Supreme, right? Tulasi Muni actually defines this word Bhagavan, right? We very cheaply use this word Bhagavan. What does Bhagavan means, right? So in Bhagavad Gita you can see when the verses comes, Arjuna Vacha, Dhritarashtra Vacha. When Krishna speaks, it's not Krishna Vacha, it's a Sri Bhagavan Vacha, right? This Bhaga, right, means the opulence, right? And Bhagavan means who has it, who has this opulence. And Parashamuni describes these 6 opulence of the Lord, right? One is the wealth. You can have the wealth like the Lord. He can claim everything is mine. Krishna says, right? Everything is me. Everything belongs to me. We might claim that, this house is mine, this is mine. But if you're dead, you have to leave everything. Time comes, I come as a death and take everything from you. He can claim that, but we cannot claim, right? He is the supremely wealthy, because everything belongs to him, right? And fame, right? Our fame is so limited to certain place, right? But Krishna's fame is all around the universe, all the planets and demigods. Everybody his glories is being spread. That is the fame of Krishna, the God, right? And the strength. We can compare the strength of Krishna, right? If Krishna wants to kill someone, who can be protected? Who can be saved? Nothing can save that person. That's the power of Krishna, right? And beauty. In 𝗔𝗯cie 𝘂𝘁, so beautiful Krishna. But Krishna actually word means all attractive itself. Krishna, 𝗔𝗯cie 𝘂𝘁. right? He's all attractive. Everything about him is so attractive. Madhura, like, Krishna says, like, there's a beautiful bhajan, right? Madhuram, Madhuram. Adharam, Madhuram, Vadanam, Madhuram. Everything, his eyes are like so beautiful, his lotus lips, his walk, feet, you name it. Everything is so attractive about Krishna. Right? That's why in Vrindavan, everybody is so absorbed saying Krishna. When his wonders goes out, all the gopis just looking at him, his eyes open and cursing about Brahma. What is this Brahma? He doesn't know how to create things. He himself claims as a creator, great creator. But why he has to keep his eyes closed, like blinking, every moment? Because we cannot see Krishna at that particular moment. Like, we're missing Krishna. Right? Krishna's attracting everybody, every place. He goes to Dwarka, everybody attracted. Hastinapur, he goes, like, everybody's attracted. That's the beauty of Krishna. Right? And he has knowledge. Right? Who has knowledge like Krishna? Like even Bhagavad Gita, you see this half an hour, discussion with Arjuna, right? Is so popular, so powerful, and every time, place and circumstances, you can use this knowledge, right? Actually, Krishna says this. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, we can discuss it. How he says that this knowledge is 𝗷𝗍𝗻, is eternal knowledge. It's like, whatever knowledge we try to gain sometime, like in the material world, it's very temporary, it doesn't stick too long. But this knowledge, everyone, no matter who it is, they can apply this knowledge. Who can give such kind of knowledge, right? So, and renunciation. And he's so much detached. He's so detached, there's nothing to do with this world. He's not attached with anything in this world, right? Even he was like in the Rajasva Yajna. He was a zookeeper, zookeeper, God, serving his devotee, being a zookeeper, making sure the zoos are all right. There's nothing to do with all position, but like in Rajasva, they want to worship him as Bhagwan. He knows that Yudhishthira Maharaj, Pandavas, Bhishma, they actually say, this Bhagwan, you have to worship him. He's like actually all the sages, all the people around the universe. There's no one greater than him. And he should be worshipped. But he's taking the position, such a humble position. He's not showing like I'm supreme. That's renunciation. It's Tyagi. Who is greater Tyagi than him? So that's one of the quality it says in scripture. So, and we have to see these qualities. Like, how can we know somebody is God? Right? And this quality of omniscient, like, omniscient, omnipresent, right? Omnipotent. These are three main primary quality of God. And this sloka, actually, you can see Krishna is trying to show the power of omniscient. He knows everything. That's why I put a topic, the perfect knower. He is a perfect knower, right? And in chapter 7, 2 verses, he says that if you know this knowledge, Arjuna, there is nothing else you need to know further. Nothing else. This is enough for you to be a better. That's the power of this knowledge Krishna is giving, right? And very interesting part is that, like, in previous verse, in 25, Krishna was explaining that Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samarvita. I am covered by Yogamaya. So there could be confusion. Like, for example, if, like, just like a cloud, Prabhupada given an analogy, like, if the cloud is covering, like, the sun, the moon, it means that the sun also cannot see us. If we cannot see the sun, right? So because the cloud is covering, it means that sun also cannot see us. But here, from this verse, Krishna is trying to prove that it is not contaminated. Yes, it's a covering for us, but for Krishna, it is not a covering, right? Vedaham samatitani. So because I know everything that is going on, the present, the past, the future, so what is a covering for me? Nothing. Because I know everything, right? And so, and we might think, like, because our understanding, like, Krishna can be covered by, like, the clouds, and as we are, like, part and parcel of Krishna, Krishna also is like that. The Mayavad is especially, that's one of the main basic principles. They think that Krishna also is just like us, is built by material energy. That's one of the illusion they have, the Mayavadis, right? But Krishna in Brahma Samhita it explained that, Advaitam achyutam anadi ananta rupam adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha vedeshu durlabha adurlabhas atma bhakto govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Krishna, we might compare like, because he's just like me, he has to die, his body is changing. So Krishna is also maybe like us. But here Lord Brahma is praying that Adyam Purana Purusham Navayonvanam. He is always youthful. Navayonamcha. Always young. And we know like even during the Mahabharata, the war, he was looking younger than Arjuna. And he was so old, 89 years old. Just imagine. So that's what it is. Now, so that's why people are after this knowledge, like this information, right? People want to know about everyone. That's why all this social media, this network, Google, like you name it, Facebook, Instagram, like TikTok nowadays, everything is getting popular, the social media. And they know everything about you. Okay. Where you are staying now, which location you are in, people are putting all the information, right? I'm in this coffee shop, I'm going to shop right, I'm doing shopping. Everything is tracked, right? And they're trying to prove that they are kind of God. There is a church called Church of Google. You can search in Google actually. They are trying to say that Google is God. It's a group of people, like there's a website, you can Google it, Church of Google, and they give a very nice logic that how Google is God. Right? It's interesting. So they say that Google is all-knowing. He has all the information. He knows about you. He knows about you. He knows about so many things, right? All-knowing, and it's infinite. Right? It's growing, every day it's growing, information is going, just like, Krishna's Leela is continuously going, like Ananda Shish, is glorifying about Krishna, the Leela, the pastime, it's going, because actually Ananda Shish even could not finish glorifying the pastime of Lord, because it's so many pastimes going and continuous, he's speaking every moment with Ananta mouth, just imagine, and still the pastime is not over. It's because new pastime is coming. In the same way, Google also saying that we are also infinite. Because every day, there are millions of websites coming, too many informations, and we are collecting this information, right? And they also say they have the past, data of past, right? They have data of present, and in future the data will also come to us, right? So, and they can also even predict nowadays like artificial intelligence, right? So if you are searching for like some kind of nowadays the Black Friday sale is going on, a lot of sales, they will give you all the ads, boom, boom, boom. Oh, you need a washing machine, you need a vacuum cleaner, you need this computer, all this everything. How they know? They can predict your desire, right? So they're trying to prove that they are like God, right? So just imagine now, big terms like in technology, like data lake, data mining. I gave one time an interview in New York. There's a company. So what they used to do is they collect all this information, and they exactly know what is the best time. For example, I want to target advertisement for people from age for example 18 to 26. So what is the best time to show an ad on the TV? Which game is the best? People will watch. If I'm selling a car, right? So who are the people who are gonna buy a car, right? So they exactly predict based on this data that who is the people, what is the best time I can send this advertisement, right? So these are happening, all this data mining, all this, so many data, even Google, you can see, our Gmail, about they offer free about 15 gigabyte data, and they have about 1.8 billion users. It's about 27 billion gigabyte of information, only in Gmail. Now just imagine how much information, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all this company has. They're collecting information. So information is power nowadays, right? It says information is king. Who has information? They're ruling the world, actually, right? Why Facebook is so big? Why Google is so big? Because they have all the data, right? and they know how to market, they know all these things, right? So, but what information, what you do, what you have is very, very important, right? You might have so many information, but what you do about it, right? That's why in the Vedic tradition, so giving knowledge is very, the guru especially is very careful in giving the knowledge. So one very prominent example is 𝗦𝗲𝗲. So many might think that, oh, 𝗦𝗲𝗲 is such a nice disciple, right? He learned himself. But Vyasadeva in Mahabharata described his quality. Because first thing is this knowledge of war, right? Has to be very specific, like, because this kind of learning weapons, right? It can be very risky. If some wrong hand has this information, right? Even like, somebody hacks, like, all this Microsoft, there was a big hacking going on. It has happened. T-Mobile, like, they steal the customer. If it is the wrong hand, they can misuse the information such a way. They can, steal information from the bank, So that's why all this banking company, they have all these people, cyber security, so many things. Why they put it? So that this information is secured. Because if it's in the wrong hand, it can create havoc. And this has happened. Asukthama, the example. 𝗔𝗯ance actually so much attached to his son. So he gave this knowledge of Brahmastra to his son. Right? And what kind of havoc he created. Right? He wanted to kill, just imagine, he wanted to kill a baby in the womb. In the womb, it was not even burned. Just imagine. That. Right? I mean, that's what I'm saying, it's the wrong knowledge. That's why actually 𝗔𝗯ance actually took off his one of the finger. Because he was a kind of Vyada, a hunter, and he was using. You can see that he was hitting the dog, like completely. He was so angered, and he was just like shooting the dog with blood, and he can choke. Right? And Krishna actually killed 𝗦𝗲𝗲. It's a long story. I don't want to go in that, but the whole idea is that having information, right? What we do about this information is very, very important, right? In the same way, Krishna has this information. Right? So here in Krishna tries to say that that he knows all this information about past, right? And how he proves that he knows, right? In we can see in Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 itself, Krishna explains, right? Imam vivasvate yogam protavan ahmavyayam vivashvan manave praha manur ikshakave bravit. So Krishna says that, oh, Arjun, this knowledge I'm giving to you? I give this knowledge to Vivashwan, the sun god. The sun god name is Vivashwan, like the Surya, but actually his original name is Vivashwan. That's why this particular Manu is called Vivashvat Manu. Right? This particular sun is Vivashwan. And from Vivashwan, he gave this knowledge to Manu, the king of mankind, and then from Manu to 𝗦𝗲𝗄, the 𝗦𝗲𝗄 dynasty of Lord Ram. And then Arjuna is bewildered. What are you talking about? We born in same age, like almost we are same age, same you guys. And Vivaswan, the sun, God, they're from billions of years. What are you talking about? Right? How it is possible? Right? And Krishna proves that yes. Because Arjuna, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam veta parantapa. Yes, Arjuna. I have taken so many births. I appeared so many times. You, Arjuna, you also have taken. Tava Arjuna, you also have taken so many births. But Tanyaham Veda Sarvani. But I remember all my appearance, all my birth I know. But Arjuna, sorry to say, you're not God. You're just like a jiva. You don't remember all this past life. Right? And why it is that? Prabhupada actually in purport actually described why it is. Because Krishna body is made of spiritual and our is made of material. We are built by material energy. Right? That's why everything is temporary. Right? Ajo api sannavayatma bhutanam ishvara api shan prakritim shvamadhisthaya sambhavamya atmamayaya. Krishna says, actually, I appear, by my internal potency, my internal energy, as it is. Same personality all the time. But us, Dehinosmin yatha dehe Kaumaram yovanam jara Tatha dehantara praptir Dhirastatra namuyati. He's changing all the body from childhood, getting old, and you can just see, we don't remember nothing actually. Even childhood, how many moments do we remember? Right? All the past, so many things we did. Very vivid. Slowly getting lost, slowly. By age, even today you can see like at 12 o'clock exact what we did. We don't even remember. Right? We can't even track what we have done. Vividly, we'll slowly forget. But Krishna is not like that. He remembers every moment that has happened in the past. Right? So he proves that. So one pastime when Krishna appeared to Devaki and Vasudeva, right? Krishna tells Devaki and Vasudeva, because Devaki and Vasudeva was so scared when he appeared as a four-armed Lord Vishnu. Oh, Kamsa is going to kill, he's always anxious, he's always watching us. He's ready to kill you. Right? Please change the form. We don't want to see all this divine form from you. Please come as how small baby. Right? Then actually Krishna tells that, hey, my father and mother, in the Swayambhu Manu, different Manvantara, he says that you both were Prishni and Sutapa. It is so much stated by the instruction of Lord Brahma, right? So you were the most pious Prajapati, Sutapa, and they meditated about 12,000 celestial years, severe austerity, and desiring what? To have Krishna. I want to have you as my son, just like you want to have. Who can be better son like him? Right? So Krishna appeared. He promised, yes, I will be your son, right? And he appeared as Krishna Garbha in that time. And after again, after many years, again I also appeared as the son of Aditi and Kashyapa, as Vamana, right? As Vamana Upindra, right? Vamana Avatar. So now the same personality, the Aditi and Kashyapa, appearing as Devaki and Vasudeva, I'm again appearing as his son. So he is confirming that I know all the past, right? He knows everyone, the past, right? So we can see that Krishna, so many times he shows this. How Krishna know all the past, even King Muchukunda, right? He was staying in a cave for how many years? Thousands and thousands of years. He's sleeping there. How did he know he was there, right? And he knows he needs to deliver this devotee, right? And he was running. The Kaliyavan demon was trying to kill Krishna, and Krishna is running away. Kaliyavan thinking, look at this God, he's afraid of me. But Krishna's known. He has his plan, right? And he goes inside this dark cave, and this Muchukanda is sleeping because they had a boon from Lord Indra that I want to sleep. That's it. Because he actually was, there's a long past time, he was helping the demigods to fight the demons. And all the demons were killed, they were victorious. But during that time, everything in this material world was finished. All his relatives, everything is gone. So it's what's the point? Right? I would better sleep and take rest. I'm too tired also of this war. Right? But Krishna, for that service, right, knowing, and he said that whoever wakes me up, I see him, that's it. The person will turn into ashes. And this Kaliyavan, he goes inside Krishna and he thinks that this is Krishna sleeping. And he started kicking him. And this Kaliyavan wakes up and just sees this. Muchukunda sees this Kaliyavan. That's it. Khatam.com, right? Just finish him, it's one shot, right? Because Krishna knows the past, right? You can see so many pastimes like Bhimsen fighting with 𝗔𝗯ance. He was fighting 26 days, almost every day he's fighting kusti. He thought first day I'm going to finish this 𝗔𝗯ance. Fighting. What is happening? He's not dead. I'm not able to kill him. Then he goes to Krishna. Krishna, please, now. It's too much now. I cannot kill this 𝗔𝗯ance. Then he says all the secrets, right? You have to kill in this way. He tells all the pastime, how he was burned. 𝗔𝗯ance. So Krishna knows this, right? So Prabhupada actually here it says that why we forget what we cannot remember, right? Is because of the change of body, right? I was explaining we are changing the body all the time, right? But Krishna Krishna says, 𝗔𝗯ance 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗏, right? I'm sambhavami atmamaya. I'm the same personality. I don't change my body, right? So, in chapter 6 actually says, although I'm unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entity, I still appear in every millennium with my original transcendental form, right? So after that, Krishna explains like 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗏, why I come, why I appear. All this Krishna starts explaining to Arjuna, right? So we discuss how Krishna knows the past. So we'll see how Vartamanancha Arjuna, like knowing the present. I know all the present, what is happening, right? So in Mukunda Upanishad, and Chatasura Upanishad, there is very beautiful sloka that Shamani Vrikshe Purusho Nimagno Nishaya Sochitu Muhya Mana Jushtam Yada Pashyatya Anyam Esham Asya Mahimanamiti Vitasoka. So actually it describes about the tree that we in our heart, we have two living entity, a kind, two souls. One is our soul and the Paramatma, the super soul, right? And in Upanishad describes that actually this soul represents two birds, right? So one bird is trying to enjoy this, trying to eat, like there's us, right? And other side is just watching as Paramatma, right? So, and he says like although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness. You're trying to enjoy all this fruits. Oh, maybe this will make me happy. That will make me happy. And the soul is like, the Paramatma is just watching. When is this soul going to look behind and say, like, see me? I'm your friend. I'm here to help you. Because all these things you're trying to enjoy in this material world is not going to make you happy, right? So that's why he said like that. But in the same way, some way or other, he turns his face to his friend, who is the Lord and knows his glories. At once, the suffering birds become free from all anxiety. Once you actually turn to Paramatma, all the anxiety is gone. Finish. Right? So how actually Krishna knows this Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗏 ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. So we can see that Krishna knows what is happening every place, every moment. And we all are very thankful. Krishna is actually saying us, we are present. Everybody's attendance is taken by Krishna. All this present moment, everybody is here to hear about him. So we never forget that we all came, for worshipping him. He will never forget, right? So Krishna, you can see, like when Prahlad Maharaj was calling, Krishna knew that Prahlad is calling. How do you know? Because he knows the present, right? Exactly, he knows the present. Very nice story in Mahabharata about these 5 arrows of Bhishma, right? Because one day, like Duryodhana was so faded, like 8 days of the 8th day, like the war is like the end of the war, and Duryodhana goes to Bhishma. It's like so sad. Bhishma Dev, you are so strong, but you're not killing these Pandavas. Why? Bhishma said, like, I'm trying hard. I'm doing my best, and you don't know Krishna. By the protection of Krishna, I cannot do. Until Krishna is there, it's not possible. Then Duryodhana says, like, maybe if you are not willing to kill Krishna, maybe like I should bring Karna. You drop. You don't become Senapati. I'll bring my friend because he's willing to kill the Pandavas. And he was too much emotionally while trying to push Bhishma. So he sat down Bhishma Dev and he prayed, and he created 5 silver arrows. They set it. He said that I put my tyaga, tapasya on these 5 arrows. Not even Indra can save, right, whom I'm going to kill from these arrows. So I'm going to kill Pandavas with these 5 arrows tomorrow. Then Duryodhana became so happy. So happy, wow, finally, Bhishma Dev, like, I'll take this arrow with me, make sure, like, I had it. I was so happy. He took this arrow and he went to his sleep. Then over there at the side, Krishna knew, because what is happening, he exactly knew what is happening. So he says, Arjuna, that you remember? So one time, in Dvaitavan, Duryodhana, they were trying to tease you, all the Pandavas. Look at, see how much we are enjoying you guys in a jungle. Trying to tease you, and all then Chitrasen from the Gandharva actually destroyed them. And at the time you saved him and he said, you promised him to pay back. So this is the day. You go and ask 5 arrows from him. So Arjuna also didn't even question nothing, 5 arrows from him. He just goes, and he says, 𝗔𝗯𝗻, remember, you promised me that you're going to give me the 5 arrows. No, sorry, you're going to pay back. At the time I didn't ask you. So yes, please. Oh, you want the kingdom? I'm ready to give. No, I'm not here for you. Just give me the 5 arrows. So he just give the 5 arrows. After he took the 5 arrows, he's just wondering, how did he know? And he asked Arjuna actually, how did you know about this 5 arrows? And he says, Krishna told me. And he takes it then. 𝗔𝗯𝗻 is wondering, how come Krishna know? Maybe Vidura and Bhishma was right. Maybe he's God. He knows everything. Past, present, everything. Right? So he's wondering as he sleeps. Right? So here it says how Krishna knows everything happening. Draupadi was saved. Right? Because Krishna knows presently my devotee suffering, they're praying, they're calling me. He just appeared as unlimited sari. Right? That's Krishna's source. His knowledge of knowing everything, right? So, very limited time, just want to go. And also Krishna in Yamaraj, in Srimad Bhagavatam, is the Yamadutas actually describes that, who are the Sakshi of this material world. What is happening, whatever is happening. How it is taken track, I have to punish this guy this way, how? So it talks about different kind of Sakshi. We have sun, we have fire, we have sky, air, demigods, moon, evening, day, night, and also like that. It's also like super soul. They are the pramanas, right? And super soul is the best pramanas for all of them. So also the knowing the future. Krishna says, I know Bhavishyani, right? I know the future of every one of us. When are we going to go back to God? Also Krishna knows. Right? What we are going to do, also Krishna knows. When he was going as a Sankridut, he knows that 𝗔𝗯𝗻 is not going to act. Right? He knows everything. Right? So he says, and also in Bhagavad Gita actually he proves that how he knows the future. When he's showing the universal form. Right? 𝗔𝗯𝗻 𝗔 𝗔𝗯𝗻 𝗔𝗯𝗻 तथान्यम अपियो दवीरान मया हतं स्वं जहिमा व्ययस्थिता 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗄 𝗔𝗯𝗻 So he says that all this Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, all other great warriors have already been destroyed. They already killed Arjuna. I already killed them. So therefore killing them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies. Because they're already dead. And Krishna actually is showing already all these Kauravas are already dead. Right? So Krishna exactly knows what is going to happen. Right? That's why how Krishna's network of this karma, how it works. How he exactly know this person is supposed to be taken birth in this place. He's supposed to be in this house, somebody born in rich family, poor family, in this kind of body, female body, black, white, red, somebody born in America, somebody born in... How this happened? Because Krishna knows with this analysis of all this past, like the present and the future, he knows what is going to happen, right? So, just move faster. So then again he says, but for me, no one knows, right? Mam tu vedana kashchana. Krishna knows everybody, but Krishna himself, no one knows. Right? In Bhagavad actually Prabhupada says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanam Prabhupada. So many millions of life, from the living entity. They try to inquire why this is happening, that happening. Now then those kind of millions of people, hardly one knows Krishna. Very difficult to know Krishna. Right? And Krishna here actually says, Name vidushura gana prabhavam maharshayan ahamadi devanam maharshinam chasharvashaha. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Right? He said, not even the demigods, the devatas, they don't even know me. Right? The sages, the tapasvi, right? They don't know me. Tatha paramaham sanam muninam amalatmanam bhakti yoga vidharnatham katham pashyamhi strim. Kunti Maharani praying, all this Amalatma, like, all these devotees, the yogis, they're trying to, like, understand about you. And I'm just a simple woman. How can I know you, Krishna? Right? Because you have Maya 𝗔𝗯𝗍𝗂𝘁 𝗔𝗯𝗍, right? Because of Maya, you're covered. Right? Maya 𝗔𝗯𝗍𝗂𝘁 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗠 Bhakti Vriksha 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗠 𝗦𝗫𝗓 nato 𝗦𝗫𝗲𝗏. Just like the actors, they're doing in the stage, like, different kind of, somebody's like acting as a prince, somebody's acting like, some kind of characters, right? We exactly don't know who is this person. Right? When they change all these makeups and everything come out, you were acting like this queen? I don't even know. In the same way, when Krishna performed all this pastime, people are bewildered. They don't know this is God, right? So that's what it is, right? So that's why, and how can we have this information? That's the main point, right? So definitely there will be limitation as a jiva, but Krishna explained that he can give us remembrance when it's needed, right? Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto mata smritirjnanam apohanam cha vedaishta sarvairaham vedyo vedanta kritvedavit chaham. He says that sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto. I am seated in everyone's heart, right? So just like a doctor, right? We're in disease condition, and we go to a doctor, and I have this symptoms, that symptoms, and doctor give you some kind of prescription. Then you go to one, it's not getting healed. Then you go to another doctor, say, your medicine that the doctor prescribes is wrong. His analysis of your body is complete. Oh my God, what? I tried this, that's why I was suffering more. Then he gives exactly get the right prescription, proper test and everything. He get right medicine, and you get healed, right? So in the same way, actually, Krishna, knowing about us, the past, present and future, actually are very beneficial for us, right? Because his understanding, his knowing is supremely efficient and competent, right? Krishna's knowing. Because if somebody knows exactly what, because then he can prescribe you the right medicine. You're supposed to do this, right? He can give you the far-sightedness, right? That's why we have to surrender to the knowledge of Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita. Because he can really give you a right vision. What should be our goal, right? What should be our action? The present, what we're supposed to do, right? What we're supposed to do, what we need to do, and what will happen if you do, right? He can perfectly guide us. That's quality that Krishna, with this knowledge, knowing his past, present, future, he can exactly guide. We just have to turn, just like this bird, we just have to turn to this soul. We have to hear the words from Bhagavad Gita, right? But just like water, right? Water, everybody needs water, right? But before the meal, if you take the water, it's very good. But after the meal, it's considered as poison, right? Now, in the same way, we can see that, we might have this knowledge, but if we cannot apply, in the right place and right circumstances, then there's no use. Just like Karna. He also know all this Divyastra, all these astras, all this knowledge he got from Parshuram, right? And Parshuram cursed him. But when you need in the most, you'll forget. What's the point of this knowledge? Right? That's what Bhishma actually says. He's not even Rathi. Because when you mostly, in a battlefield, when you need most, you need to know the knowledge. In the same way, Lord Ramachandra, when he got this all this knowledge about Astra from Vishwamitra, he actually seek blessing from Vishwamitra. Say that, Vishwamitra, please bless me. Whenever I need, I can recall this knowledge at the right time. Right? I may know so many things, but if that information doesn't pops up in the right time, what's the value of this? As a doctor, for example, I need to cut this particular nerves here and this one, I should not cut during that particular surgery. And by mistake, I forgot this knowledge and cut the wrong nerves. The patient is just gone, right? That knowledge has to be rightly appeared in the right time, right? So that's what Krishna says. Because Krishna, he said that I give this remembrance. I give this mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha. that whenever you need this information, I give the remembrance, right? So whenever you practice bhakti, Krishna will give you that remembrance at the time of need. We just have to keep that faith and continue in our devotional service, right? So I want to end with this very important, very beautiful verse that actually for many, many lifetime, right? Many lifetime we have been serving this our lusty desire. Kamadina katina katida palita durnitesha tesham jatamaina karuna natrapano pashanti 𝗔𝗯cie𝘂𝗁𝗫𝗗𝗏 Shampratam labdha buddhis Tvamayata saranam abhayam mam niyunchvatmadase. So everyone can read the translation together. It's a beautiful verse. And this is actually our life, basically. Right? That's why we are trapped in this cycle of birth, death, and disease. Right? Oh my Lord.
Oh my Lord.
There is no limit.
There is no limit
to the unwanted orders
of
lusty desires.
Although
I have rendered these desires
so much service,
they have not shown any mercy to me.
I have
not been ashamed to serve them, nor have I ever desired to give them up. O my Lord, O head of the Yadu dynasty, recently, however, my intelligence has been awakened, and now I'm giving them up. Due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of these desires. And I now come to you to surrender myself at yours fearless lotus feet. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. So this is from Bhakti Vriksha, Chaitanya 22.16. Very beautiful verse. Actually, we have been serving, our desire so many times, knowing. When I say I'm ashamed, I know this unwanted desire I'm serving, right? And this desire has never fulfilled me. Never. I'm serving this person, but never fulfill my desire. But shamelessly, I'm still serving this person. These desires. Fulfill. Maybe tomorrow he's going to fulfill. I'm going to serve my senses. I'm going to serve, doing many lifetime, right? It's a matter of time when you surrender to Krishna, right? This by right intelligence, then you'll be able to serve. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So anyone has question, comment, or?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just a regular question. I mean, many times when we say that God knows past, present, and future, people argue back that what about free will then? If free will is there, then how God knows about future? I may decide to do something different, right?
Yes. So there's also some philosophers, they say that God, just want to add a comment on that, sometimes they think that God cannot be omnipotent and omniscient. It's not possible. Because if he's omnipotent, right? If he's omniscient, he knows the future, what is going to happen. It means that he cannot change the future. So it means he's not omnipotent, right? Now, if he's omnipotent, he's supposed to change the future, but now he cannot change the future. If he's able to change the future, means that he doesn't know the future. It's so confusing, right? So how it is possible? Right? How can God be like that? So actually, if you see Krishna, he shows this quality that he can be both. Sometimes he can forget his omniscient property, or he can even see that he will not show his omnipotent. Just like Krishna in Damodar Leela, Yasodama is trying to chase him with his stick, and really Krishna is really crying with fear. Do you think Krishna knows that he's God during that time? He's God. do you think?
Yes.
Do you think he knows he's God?
Yes.
No, he doesn't know he's God. He doesn't know he's God. He is simply, I am son of Yashoda. Now I'm going to get punished. He's not even thinking. So that's why the tattva and the rasa, the lila. So the rasa is always higher than the lila. No, I mean the tattva. Right? So Krishna can act in that way. He can, like, sometimes he can manifest, the omnipresence is everywhere. Just like in Dwarka, he shows this, but sometimes it doesn't show. Right? So he has this power. And regarding the free will, Krishna knows that you are going to do this in the past. Definitely he knows what is going to happen. But he doesn't intervene your actions. Right? Just like, the Santi, when he went as a Santi Dut itself, he really tried hard. If you really see in Mahabharata, I was reading this section, very beautiful. Everyone was convinced. You will not believe, even 𝗔𝗯ance, Gandhar Naresh Sakuni, everyone was convinced, saying that let's give it back. Then Duryodhana actually goes away from the palace, like the meetings, because even 𝗔𝗯ance is changing. Like, what is happening? Krishna is able to convince everybody. But there's a long pastime how because he has some the demons actually has controlled him during that the same pastime where he was defeated by this Chitraratha. He wanted to suicide actually because he was so humiliated. Right, I'm going to suicide. I cannot, because the one who you hated so much and saved you. And for Kshatriya is such a, oh my God, it's such a bad thing. But I don't want to go into too much detail. But Krishna was able to convince everything, right? So, but the choice is still with that living entity. He's not going to enforce to anyone that you have to do this. But he does his duty in terms of giving an opportunity, the choices, right? So as our free will is not like he's showing that here is like there's an apple and there's orange. He will show you the both, right? But the choice, the free will of choosing, he knows that you're going to choose the apple. Doesn't mean that actually he's taking the free will. He's not imposing that you need to choose the apple. He's not doing that. But he's giving this both options to you. He's not closing one because I already know you're going to choose apple. Why I need to show the orange to you, right? It's not like that. But your free will is always there to make the choices. So hopefully I answer the question. Not much, but really.
Very wonderful class. You mentioned when Yashoda Maya was tying the rope to Krishna, you mentioned Krishna doesn't know he is God, right? So, but there was one more Leela when Yashoda Maya got the news that Krishna is eating mud, right? And she went there, and when she tried to open the mouth, Krishna showed her the entire Brahman, entire universe.
So that's why Krishna can do that.
How?
He can sow whenever he wants. He can act like, because otherwise there is no Leela. If I know I'm God, like, it's not fun. If you know.
He knows he's God, but he accordingly
by his internal, that's what Krishna explained. By his internal
desires, he shows whatever, like, he reciprocates according to our desires. Now, if Yashoda Maya is treating him as a son, he knows he is God, but he's behaving like a small kid, right? And at the same time, he's showing Yashoda Maya that he is the Lord. And also, he's like, with the power of Yoga Maya, he's making Yashoda believe that he is not God.
The same way, actually, Krishna, by his internal potency, he forgets that he is God. Right? That's why in Vrindavan, especially the Leelas that happens, because if Krishna knows he's God, there's no fun. There's no fun. Like, I know God. Like, I'm just trying to do. He cannot. He really literally crying. Actually, Acharya has described that his cries are very genuine. He's really fearful. He's really fearful that with this stick that you smell now today, I'm going to get chastised from Yashoda, right? Rudantam muhurnetram yugmam rijantam, right? Karamboja Yugmena Satankanetam. This is real feeling. It's not like just Krishna actually genuinely feeling. Because that particular moment, Krishna is not knowing his God. He completely have put his potency to know, like, he's not God. He's just a son of Yashoda. That rasa, he just want to enjoy that rasa. And he can do that. That's why the whole idea of God is he can forget he's omnipresent. He can forget sometimes he's omnipotent. He forgets, like he doesn't use it, but when he needs it, he can bring that. So in the same, like, where Brahma Ghat, this pastime of Brahma Bhiman, is showing the Brahma Bhiman Lila, right? No, not Brahma Bhiman Lila. Showing the universal all in his mouth. Like he was showing his omnipotence at that time. Again, makes Yasodamai forget. And again, he acts like a child too. Again, he forgets his God. And he can bring, that's why he's God. We are not like that. We cannot control, like, I want to be here. No, we cannot do. Or I can bring this knowledge now. No, we don't have that control. That's why Krishna actually in chapter 7, he shows why he is God. Right? And Srimad Bhagavatam, the first sloka itself, it says, Krishna is Swarad. This word, very, very important. Like we might think that, oh, God's supposed to act like this way, God's supposed to be like this, God's supposed to be like this. But Krishna trying to show that he is not under the definition of what we think God is. He is supremely independent. This word, very important. He is supremely, nothing, like he's not bound like God has, why he is stealing? How can God be stealing this makan? It doesn't have anything, it's bhukmari, like, every day going and stealing. You cannot conceive that. And that's why Krishna is so, like, he is not bound by our laws of thinking who God is. He is not bound. Right? That's what actually Krishna is trying to show, that he is supreme, like that. Right? He is supreme. He is not bound. And he can show whatever he wants, whenever he wants. That's what is Krishna is. Right? So thank you so much.
When Krishna got his first time, he lets Yogamaya cover him.
Yes, exactly.
For the time being.
Yes.
So that is also under his control.
Under his control, yes. And when he does that, he completely forgets. He allows that to Yogamaya to do that, all the pastimes.
Yeah, that is the right answer. He allows Yogamaya
Yes,
to control.
yes. And he forget. And during that part, the whole idea is he doesn't know he's God. So that's the thing. He doesn't know he's God. So that's why Achintya, Krishna's, that's a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is very difficult to understand Krishna. Very difficult to understand Krishna. It's impossible, actually. For living into understanding, Krishna says, like, even the sages, demigods, they don't even know me. And forget about us, tiny little jiva. Very difficult to understand Krishna. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.